Hello. All right. Welcome. Happy to be back here for this Tea Talk Thursday. Yes, I've got my tea. All right. So today I want to talk about a very timely topic, which is your business disaster proof? Now, obviously, today is, Thursday, the last Thursday in September. We have a major hurricane about to hit the southeast of the United States. So, that little Florida panhandle piece, Tampa, and then of course there's hurricane warnings up above that. There's just like the whole southeast of the United States is looking at a major weather event. I'm obviously not there. I'm in California, but I have a lot of friends and colleagues in the area, that panhandle of Florida, all the way down Tampa, all the way down to the tip of Florida, but also South Carolina, North Carolina, Atlanta. Pretty much it's all facing extreme weather. And it is a good time. Obviously not the day that the storm is supposed to hit, but it's always a good time to reflect upon whether or not your business is disaster proof. Now, when I had Frodo's, when I had my coffee shop, obviously disaster proofing looked a little different because I was a retail shop, right? I was brick and mortar. If the door doesn't open, when the power went out, if something happened, I had to close my doors, and that necessarily meant that, my business was shut down. Kind of. So when I had Frodo's, we were on the front end of the internet. Very front end, right? This is how old I am. I always feel old when I say stuff like that. But even with a retail market, a retail business, there are still ways to very easily have some sort of an internet component. There are ways to plan to have everything backed up, and either in the cloud or offsite in a safe place. This is just like literally, I call it fireproofing the business. I'm in California, so we have fire. So it's fireproofing the business, right? You want to make sure that you have the things, the physical things set in place for your business to operate if you're a brick and mortar and there's a storm coming, right? So what can you physically get out of the store or the location, the office? What can you do to waterproof, fireproof that facility? But more importantly, with your business, what I really want to talk about is not the action of, the physical checklist, the plans, right? Like the go bag, essentially, of your business, because I think that there's a lot of stuff out there for that. But I want to talk about the resiliency, the flexibility to go into whatever unexpected situation it is. It could be a death in the family. It could be a natural disaster or a weather event. It could be, again, there's any number of unexpected things that happen to us in our lives that affect our business, especially if we're these micro business owners, right? As a micro business owner, a small business owner where you are either your only employee or you have a couple people working with you, you want to be able to have the mental resiliency and the capacity to be flexible to adapt to a changing situation. And so, yes, there are things you can do, right? if you're an online business, you can have backup posts. It's tantamount to a teacher having a sick day plan, right? So, teachers write these kind of backup sick day plans for a substitute to come in and take over should they need to be out. Well, you kind of have to have that for your social media, for your marketing plan, right? You need to be able to have that stuff rolling, even if you're not able to be actively involved for a week or two, right? So that's tactical planning. What do I mean, though, by mental planning? Mental flexibility, mental resilience. It means taking whatever is coming, taking that deep breath. Yes, I always go back to the deep breath, right? I'm a big fan of the deep breath. Taking the deep breath and going into it, expecting that whatever happens is going to somehow teach you something. You're going to benefit from it. It's going to give you a new opportunity, right? So we're looking at it going in, not for, oh my gosh, this is such a disaster. This is going to be horrible. We want to lean into it saying, okay, well, I wonder what this interesting ride is going to bring to me, right? We're open to the opportunity side of it. That's gratitude, being grateful for what you do have. And it means being willing or able to stand on the rubble of your business after a tornado goes through and stand there in tears and say, okay, well, I'm not supposed to have this business. I don't know what it looks like now. I don't know how it got there, but I'm grateful to be standing here with my life. Your IP, right? Your IP is all your intellectual property. It's what's happening in your head. And that knowing that you're going to have the wherewithal, the backbone, the spunk, the fired up energy to get to the next thing, right? To take the next step. And it's always just one step at a time. So it's staying positive. It's leaning into the gratitude. It's asking, what's the opportunity here for me to learn? Maybe the opportunity is, oh, well, I didn't have enough planned. I didn't have enough reserve marketing plans. Maybe it's that, gee, I really do need a VA. There's a lot said about VAs versus in-person admins. At some point in a business, you just have to have an in-person admin. And a lot of my clients have in-person admins because of the kind of business that they have and the fact that they deal with very real, I call it paperwork, paperwork. So yes, those kinds of people are great, but a virtual assistant, an off-site assistant, somebody who is located someplace else in your own country or another country, they are probably not going to be subjected to the same natural disaster that you're experiencing or the same, bump in the road that you're experiencing. And so if they have a plan, then you can kind of shift virtual headquarters over to them. And that's a huge asset to somebody that is a micro business owner, where you are your business, or you are predominantly your business, right? You are the person driving everything. So a VA might be something that you want to consider. Like, are there things that a VA can just take off of your plate? Even 5 hours a week. I was just talking to somebody who's hiring a VA for like 5 hours a month, right? It doesn't matter. But if she's got a VA and she's got a plan, now she can add hours to the VA during an unexpected disruption to her business and keep things moving when she's not there to do it herself, right? So there's huge advantages to having a VA, having backup content, being able to have somebody reach out and reschedule everything for you. And you could just be honest, right? We could just be honest with clients or whatever. There's nothing wrong with saying, hey, we're in the middle of this, this craziness. Again, it could be a death in the family. It could be a fire. It could be a flood. It could be a hurricane. It could be, just some unexpected thing that pops up in our lives. There's nothing wrong with being able to say, I'm having a natural disaster over here. I just need to reschedule. Or I'm going to have to put this piece off. That doesn't make you wrong. It doesn't make you bad. It doesn't make you unreliable if it's a legitimate crisis. And when that happens, you want to go to your mindset plan for resiliency. What do I need to do to be nimble here? What do I need to do to be flexible in my business? Is there stuff that I can hand off? How can I push back that deadline that I've created? What do I need to say to my clients, right? You just go into it mentally from the conversational point of crap happens and it's all going to work out for me. It's all going to work out perfectly. And then being flexible enough to ride the wave. Because we don't know. We don't always have control. We don't always have the ability to be in charge like we want to. So we have to be flexible and nimble enough. If that means that you need to remind yourself by go standing in a yoga pose, go remind yourself, take 2 minutes to get into that yoga pose, to remind yourself that flexibility is absolutely key to resiliency. Right? Mental and emotional flexibility, being able to ride the emotional waves that come up as we're experiencing these disasters in a way that is acknowledging what's happening, right? Acknowledging potentially even the trauma going on, the traumatic event we're experiencing, certainly, but accepting like, yep, this is happening. This is how I'm feeling. Oh gosh, I'm just going to be present. I'm going to be present in this moment. And when this is over, right? So here's the biggest key, right? When this is over, I'm going to recover in my business by taking that first step. And maybe as you're going along, you're thinking about what's the next step. And maybe the next step changes, right? So again, when I had photos, and I had this nice brick and mortar little business. We were having, at the time, we were being subjected to rolling brownouts during the summer because of power shortages. It felt a little bit not like living in California, but, you got to roll with it, right? So, what was going to be my first step? Well, okay, this is what I'm going to do in the meantime. I planned it. Okay, well, can't do anything about this. Put the close sign up on the door. Got it. I'm not in control of this. My next step would just be to go through the closing process, right? I'm just going to start the closing process of my business. And then I knew that I would just follow up with the opening process. Well, I also had a contingency plan because if the refrigerators were going to be out for more than 4 hours, it would have meant that everything in my refrigerators potentially would have had to be wasted, which if you know anything about the espresso business, really, I was selling milk. You call it coffee. I call those drinks milk because I went through gallons and gallons of milk. And so I had a plan, right? At the 3 hour mark, if my power was still off, I would start transferring my milk home, right? I would start transferring. I had I kind of had a system that I started making phone calls, like, how much room do you have in your refrigerator, right? So I started building a plan for, at 3 hours, this would be my next step. I actually didn't get there, right? So at 2.5 hours, when the power came back on, I was able to say, okay, this was my next step, is to just go through the shop opening process. And so that's what I did. Now, obviously, that's not as bad as water damage or fire damage or, collapsed roofs or anything. But, the idea is that it's just that next step, and being willing to, again, take the deep breath. Take that deep breath. That deep breath is a pause. That deep breath is the ability to pause the conversation in your brain, right? The little monkeys up there just take the deep breath, pause, give yourself the reset, and just ask, what's my next step? What do I need to do right now? How, yes, I'm feeling all kinds of emotions. Yes, I'm having all kinds of thoughts. Yes, I got that. I'm looking forward to seeing what I learn. I'm looking forward to seeing what's on the other side of this. I know that I have it within me to be resilient. I know that whatever comes of this is going to benefit me in my life. I don't understand necessarily how, but it will. Okay. I just need to be doing this right now. And sometimes this is surviving, right? Sometimes this is just being present in the moment with what you need to be doing for yourself, like your physical body. And again, trusting that if you have an electronic business, that it can go on wherever you are, right? If you have an electronic business, it's really easy to be portable. If you have an electronic business, it's really easy for a VA to continue. If you have electronic components to your business, it's very easy to transfer them. So you just take that big deep breath. Plan for your recovery mentally. Plan to be resilient. Plan for positivity, right? I'm just going to go into this curious and like, this is I'm on Mr. Toad's Wild Ride. I've gotten on this ride at Disneyland. It's going to be wild, and I'm also going to get off of it at the other end. And I don't know necessarily what that's going to look like, but I'm looking forward to it, right? What can I learn? Being curious, being flexible. It's not going to look necessarily like you think it will, but it's okay. Having that really positive, affirmative conversation in your head to counteract the craziness. And then, of course, come back to your tactical, physical plans to disaster-proof your business. And that may be what you learn. But this is a mental game. Recovery is a mental game. So be willing to play it. Plan for it. All right. So taking up about 20 minutes of your time. Thank you so much. I hope everybody is safe. I have got all of my friends and colleagues in my prayers for pretty much the southeastern United States. And if you have any questions or you need any support, of course, reach out to me. Thank you.